Good evening, friends. Today I am going to speak about one poem which is prescribed to the Periyar University students. The title of the poem is Digging, 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 written by Seamus Heaney. He is widely recognized as one of the major poets of 20th century, native of Northern Ireland. He was raised in country Derry. Later lived for many years in Dublin. He wrote over 20 volumes of poetry and criticism and edited several widely used anthologies. Anthology means the collection of poems which was written by many writers, prescribed as a poetry book, one book. Even that anthology, I am also speaking about these poems from an anthology which is prescribed to that Periyar University. Be a English student, collection of that poem, edited several widely and used anthologies. He won a Nobel Prize for Literature in the year of 1995. Rabindranath Tagore won Nobel Prize in the 1913 for his work Gitanjali he received, and for working of that lyrical beauty and ethical depth. Lyrical means it is a song like we can sing these lines. Lyrical beauty and ethical depthness. Ethical means the moral values, moral and relating to moral principles. What is the moral principles? Not telling the lies, and you used to speak truth and follow that non-violence, and we should not encourage that violence. We have to love all the people, be honest, righteous and polite and simple person. These are ethical depthness which exalt everyday miracles, and living past. Heaney taught at the Harvard University. He became that professor in the Harvard University. Even that Anna was given and some degree, doctoral degrees from Harvard University, Harvard Palgalaikaragam. For the year of 1985 to 2006, nearly 21 years he worked in that Harvard University and served as the Oxford Professor of Poetry. Oxford University is also Oxford Professor of Poetry in the year of 1989 to 1994, 5 years. Totally, he gained 26 years of experience in the field of teaching. Who is Seamus Heaney? Heaney performed by his experience. He has written this poem, Digging, to express his gratitude and also the immortal remembrance with his experience with his father and grandfather. How did they live in this world? He picture portrait. He narrate the things which was come across in his life is important. His grandfather was and turf grass harvest person, grass cutting persons, just like the solitary reaper reaping, and also the cut the grass and heavy worker. He used to cut more grass than any man in that area, and he very good, nice harvester. But his father used to work with a spade. Spade is that one instrument which is used to dig the ground and also move the ground from one place into another place and take away with the basket. And also I used to that spade in my shoulder to sing the MGR song regarding for this Kadavul Yen Kallanan. Kadavul Yen Kallanan. In that Pikas, that MGR used Pikas, I used spade. Spade used to work in the sand field and also the good soil. But Pikas is used for that only, and gravel, and the stone land. In that place is used. And after 20 years, death of his father, when he was sitting and start to writing. He is a writer. His father is used to work in the field from morning to evening, from dawn to dusk. Under that rear part get eggs. His grandfather also non-stop and worked in the field, but he cannot go and work in the field like his father with his spade, like his grandfather with the scythe, the small bend, like weapons used to cut the. I used to the spade. I used to crowbar. I used to work with the scythe for that Paddy harvest is very good, nice, fantastic. That will give more pain to the keep, more pain to the give, because we have to make the harvest while stooping forward. 1 hour okay, 2 hours okay, 3 or 4 hours means it is too difficult to know. Such a manner his father was working with the spade in the field of this 21 years. He has attracted the readerships on several continents. He had that readerships from several continents all over the world. People used to read his book, which was written by more than 20 volumes of poetry, criticism, edited several widely used anthologies. He built that widely used anthologies, collection of poetry book also he published, and continuously he won that prestigious literary award, the honors including Nobel Prize. As Blackmoreism, one of the eminent writer, noted in his work, Seamus Heaney, the author, is that rare thing. He is the rare thing. A poet rated highly by academics, yet popular with the common readers. He was highly prized by the critic, as well as prized by that co-authors, and he loved by common readers too. Academicians also loved very much to read his work, started to prize. His subject matter is modern Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland, Eastern Ireland and Western Ireland. He come across in this Northern Ireland. Its farms and cities and beset with civil war. Northern Ireland is farm, FARMS, farm. What are that? Different kinds of agriculture, farmland, and cities, and beset with civil strife. Civil war was happened during that time. What was happened? Now that war between that Russia and what is that? Neighboring country. What is that? Russia, Norway. Okay, I will tell that name regarding for this. But both are once upon a time, both countries are Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine, and the Ukraine is separated from the Russia, just like Pakistan separated from the India. Bangladesh is separated from the Pakistan with the help of leaders. As per that number of this, the common his subject matter is northern island. It's the farms and agriculture activities and its cities, the famous cities, and best be set with the civil stripe, the angry or bitter disagreement over the fundamental issues. Any problems happens between these civil war in that northern state, southern state in the America. In that civil war come to an end successfully. Abraham Lincoln conquered and united the nation, but his life was taken away by some of the ingratitude and stupid nonsense fellows and killed him by their narrow-mindedness. The conflict and harmony and pleasure, then a conflict with the government, conflict with the and with that some authorities and power over to get our rights. That is called Cold War. The Civil War, it is natural culture, language overrun by English rules. The New York Revive, book of Review of Books, essayist Richard Murphy described Heaney as the poet who has shown that finest art in presenting the coherent vision of Ireland. Richard Murphy how described Heaney as that poet who has shown that finest art presenting in the coherent vision of Ireland and past and present coherently is mentioned for this. But how that the Blackmoreism described Heaney and Seamus Heaney is that rare things the poet rated highly by academics, yet popular with that common readers. He was described as by the Richard Murphy, the poet who has shown that the finest art in presenting a coherent vision of Ireland, past and present. I also have that vision of the past and present. About this Tamil Nadu, about this India, about this world, I can orally tell. Now going to see that text of this poem, Digging, Seamus Heaney. Between my fingers and my things, the squat pen rest means squat pen resting, the snug as a gun, it is like a gun, snug as a gun, under my window, a clean rasping sound, when the spade sinks into the gravel ground. My father digging, I look down. My father, while I am sitting and writing with the pen like a gun sitting to my father, I look through my attention was diverted. My father is used spade in the ground, the rasping, the unpleasant sound turned my attention towards him. And when that spade sinks into the gravel ground working is the more patience is required. Working in the good fertile soil is no problem. Working in that marshy land as well as that gravelly ground. Gravel means small stone. I had seen one of the farmer cultivated the ground. I did not see the stone, soil, sand on the surface of the land. I had seen full of pebbles only, and stone only I had seen. How that farmer, he might be given the best farmer award to that person. But my colleagues had gone and have handful eat, but I did not eat. But I know very well because I am also son of a farmer. Son of agriculture coolie, I know that how much level he toiled and to make that make the harvest of that groundnut in that more the patience is required to work in the gravel ground. Too difficult. So my father digging, I looked down till he is straining rump among the flower, and he bent down, and also the working in the keep is getting more pain. That it cannot be, that pain is and more than the more painful than that the pain of that woman delivery pain, conceive delivery time pain. People used to that that pain woman pregnant pain is only for 1 month, but that working with the spade and scythe in the field, that will give more pain in that kip, as well as in that back more greater and permanent than that pain. Look down, still staining rum among that flowers. Bend low. He was come up with the 20 years, bent low. We have to bend to work, make that harvest and cut the turf, and also the work with the spade on the field or gaubar, and more bent with that 20 years away, stooping in that rhythm, 20 years pain, 20 years suffering, stooping in that rhythm through that potato drills, where he was digging, where he was rhythmical sound of this drilling of this potato, and sow and plantation was happened. The coarse boot, he wear that boot, but Indian people did not use boot or slipper sandals while working, but foreigners used for that boot is used. One day my mother had given me very good nice sandal, some slipper new and sandal I have purchased. I with that slipper I had gone to the land and a paddy land, but I slipped into that field, but both slipper get into, I cannot move with that slipper. Then I moved with, come up with empty feet. Then I removed from that. I had experience. All the sand and clay particles stitched with that. That is not good to walk with the boot. The coarse boot nestled means tightly go and settle in that field. And that lung and more breathing with used the shaft on some kind of that stick or that supporting instrument to move from one place into another place. Against that inside knees was liver family, inside the liver family. He rooted out tall tops of the potato, rooted out, removed from that field and buried that bright edges deep. They scatter the new potato that we picked, scatter, and the main fine qualities and plant in that earth, and the rest of this new potato is throw away from that good soil, good place, and picked, including Seamus Heaney was a small boy, and also he collected to and pill in a particular place, and loving their cool hardness in our hands by God. The old man could handle a spade. Old man could handle a spade just like he is old man, just like he is his old man. Seamus Heaney, old man who is and his grandfather. The grandfather cut more turf in a day than any other man, and Dunner box is the name of the place in that northern island. Even in my area, one of these old one was living. My father used to say that time salary of that one man per day is 50 paisa. 50 paisa. I mean before 1971, 50 paisa. But only one person in the whole village used to get for 1 rupee salary for a whole day. Non-stoply used the spade from 8 o'clock to and 4 o'clock non-stop and using the spade in the field. That is why the landowners used to give him a 1 rupee salary. The rest of the people and go for while doing the work used to drink water. While doing the work, he used to put that beetle nut. That's why he used to get 1 rupee. Orba to his name. He was get that high salary. That 1 rupees today equal to 1,000 rupees. 1,000 rupees is equal to 10,000 rupees. 10,000 is equal to 1 lakh. 1 lakh is equal to 1 crore. Like that, 1 rupees. Then any other man, the grandfather of Seamus and Seamus Heaney, grandfather cut more turf. Turf means I also used to and cut the grass to the animals. Every day, whenever the school was over, after 4 o'clock, directly go to the land. And after keeping the bag and everything, after drinking some reminiscent of the food water, rice water is there. Then after you go with the scythe, the weapons for cutting the turf grass in the all agriculture field bunds. But I used to cut and bring that head load for that animals. They will eat like that is a Horlicks to that animals. Horlicks to the animals instead of eating that and hay, dry hay or that dry fodder. They will work more. And also my father and my mother is used to say, if you properly give food to the animals, you will be blessed by the God from the heaven. They used to say like that. I'm also daily used to cut the grass and feed the animals and provided for that. Then now I cannot go and work, do such a work because no milk cow or that plow cattle and bullock cart, no bullocks, no goat and no any milk cow is in my house. We have one supper like that. The Seamus, he's observed, he belongs to agriculture family. But his grandfather has lived by the nature. His father is also lived by that physical work. But he become that mental workers, soft hard workers. Once I carried him milk in a bottle. He used to go. I also used to go carry some food to my grandfather. While sitting, my grandfather used to always sitting and eating, giving the empty vessels, and I used to bring back to my house because my grandfather was living in his house. We were lived in that present house which was built by my father. Once I carried him a milk, and Seamus Guinea also, while his grandfather was working in the field, he had gone with a bottle of milk. Once I carried a milk in a bottle, corked slowly with a paper, because the bottle cap is not properly fit, old one. So used that paper. He straightened up and drink it. Straighten up and used to drink. He did not wait for anything. Then fell to the right away, immediately without taking rest, and bent down and also started to write and started to and cut, stretch and steel and slicing neatly. After drinking that a bottle full of that milk, he cut that turf neatly and having sowed. Having sowed means very beautifully. After cut turf and grasses, keep neatly, and that it's look like very beautiful and fantastic. Such an event we cannot see because nowadays we are using that harvest machine. In those days, if you cut materials kept into the crop and stump kept in the field for 3 days. 3 days the sunlight as well as that moon and the snow is made some many process with that harvest grind and good in health. Nowadays immediately and only we are bringing the and yield, but we are leaving everything in that field only. We are not care about the animals and other things. We only care about our own small stomach. We are not care about other animals. That's why we are using that harvest machine. Harvest should be done by the human beings is more important than that harvest machines, because harvest machines and the paddy is not good to that animals to eat. If the animals is not without animal we cannot make organic cultivation. Without animals and we cannot increase that soil fertility in this world. We have to give equal importance to the paddy as well as that border of that animal. The over his shoulder and going down and down for that good turf is digging. Over the shoulder, he did not stop there. He keep on cutting that turf and getting more amount regarding for this, because he is working for his own family regarding for this, doing his own work. The cold smell of potato mold is that build, and also the hollow containers, everywhere the smell. I used to smell that the gold smell of that groundnut field, and also this paddy field, as well as in that massive field. Some of that blessed water will come, and also ragi field is also. Ragi, if you come and keep inside the house, means for blessed smell will come. And after 4 or 5 days, all the heads of the and ragi and with the help of the animals removed from that. And regarding for this, the cold smell of potato is mold the squelch, they making that sound and slabs of that soggy bed, soggy peat is that some kind of fuel is produced by that rotten vegetables with that clay particles, soggy peat. The cut of an edge through that living roots awaken in my head. Living roots can carried, and living roots are dead roots. Dead potatoes was left in the field itself, but the rest of that other things should be carried to that house, and good things leave that and used as the fuel, and also the fire wood preparations. And between my fingers my thumb, but I have no spade to follow men like them. I have no spade, no scythe. I did not go on, but I have to work with the pen between my fingers as a weapon. I am also, it is equal to digging. They are digging that ground and getting more pain, but I am digging the mind and writing. It is also the writing as well as working in the field is cut the turf also, and using the spade for this and potato drills and plantation is equal. Even Gandhiji used to say a barber and a lawyer is equal, because and barber is lead barber used to get his fundamental things by his cutting hair, but a lawyer is used to get his basic fundamental things like food and water, shelters to buy his argument in the court by law, his professions. All are equal, used to say like this. Between my fingers and my thumb, the squat pen. The squat means very costly and expensive pen. The cost of that pen is that 850 pound, 850 pounds. Up now 1 pound is equal to 80 rupees or 100 rupees or something like this. You think about that, he had, his father used to give a very costly expensive pen. That's why he has written, I am speaking about this squat pen rested. I shall dig with it, I shall write with this, dig with it is, writing is not easy task. The only and working the cutting the turf in the agriculture field is not only that difficult task, but even writing also difficult task to all the people. But I shall dig with it, but that make that more pain in that keep. But this writing and reading and speaking make that more pain in the throat. But writings make more pain in the mind. The software will get and hit regarding for this. And So it is used as lyricals. Between my fingers and my thing, the squat fender rests snug as a gun. Under my window, a clean rasping sounds when the spade sinks into the gravel ground. My father digging, I look down till his training rum among the flowers. Ben low comes up 20 years away, stooping in rhythm through that potato drill where he was digging. The coarse boot nestled on that lungs. The shaft against inside knees was leveled finely. He rooted out the tall tops and buried the bright edges deep. The scattered new potatoes throw away potatoes that we pick, loving their cool hardness in our hardness. By heart, the old man could handle the spade like his old man. My grandfather got more turf in a day than any other man in the tunnel was. Once I carried him a milk in a bottle, cropped slowly with paper. He straightened up and to drink it, then fell to the right away, nicking and slicing neatly, and having swords over his shoulder, going down for the good dive is ducking. The cold smell of the potato molds, scorch and slabs of Saji pit that cut off the edge through living roots awaken in my heart. But I have no spare to follow men like then. Between my finger and my thumb, the squat fen rest. I shall dig with it, I shall dig with it. Between my fingers, my things squat fence and rest, snug as a gun. Because, because snug as a gun. People used to say, the pen is mightier than the sword. Very good, nice poems described about what was happened in his life. Thank you, friends, for watching. I hope, and you will enjoy a lot of things. Thank you so much for this kind of things. Thank you.